What is this whole lucky girl thing? Explain to us. Manifestation. If you believe that you are a lucky person, you're going to see more reasons why you are. Whatever you believe is your truth. I feel like we've all tried to manifest something that didn't happen. And then we're like, it didn't work. I put on my full moon, I was going to meet the love of my life this month, didn't meet him. I put in, I was going to make 6 figures, didn't happen. So then we're like, this doesn't work for me. How do we regain confidence? Okay, the first thing is I was the least confident person I knew and had a terrible self-image, and that complete 180 over the past 8 years. I'm now with the love of my life, and I have a story about how I manifested him, actually. First step to transforming anything in your life is clarity. What exactly do you want? And step 2 is,
if you're ready to make 2025 your year of manifesting anything, from your dream relationship to career to self-love, this episode, featuring Activations founder Mimi Bouchard, is for you.
Just flow, surrender, let go. Yeah. Just flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Just flow, surrender, let go. Just flow, surrender, let go. Just flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Yeah.
welcome back to the High Self Podcast, a place where we discuss matters of the heart, spirituality, but make it modern, fun, grounded, and relatable. I am so excited for you to be here in this new year. So 2025, how are we feeling? This is really exciting. What is the vibe? What is the energy? What are your intentions? Like, please DM it to me. I'm really, really curious. So for me, I feel this is the year of expansion. So I have more recently moved to Dubai when this episode comes out, which I'm super excited about, though I'm about to move right now where I'm here in LA. And the reason why I'm doing so is because I feel like it's so easy to get kind of stuck in our comfort zones, you know, like, yeah, this thing works, like it's fine, you know, and let me just stick with it. But if we actually take a moment to really drop into what we really desire, then we might see that something needs to shift. Right? But sometimes that big shift, it feels so far away. And this is why I'm such a big proponent of little daily habits, daily tools. And I'm obsessed with this new app, Activations. I have the founder of the app here. So we're going to be diving deep into it. And really this year for me is all about taking those little daily, momentary little inventory checks of where we're at and then setting the programming of our consciousness. So we're not just writing out with those old thoughts that are not serving us, but instead really deciding like, yes, you know, I love the whole like lucky girl syndrome thing, and they have an amazing lucky girl affirmations one on the app, but it's like, I am a lucky girl, and like taking on that identity, or I am someone who's great with ease, or I'm someone who's amazing with relationships. It's so interesting too, because, you know, a lot of people ask me for business advice, right? I have a multiple 7-figure business, and it's interesting because I'm like, it's just easy. Like, I don't know. I just do it. Even though I work and I have deep meetings and I show up and I've built the whole thing from scratch, but I so identify now with being an entrepreneur that it's like, it doesn't feel so far away. And before we drop into this episode, be sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. That is the best way to stay up to date on the latest episodes. We've got this in video format, so if you're just hearing my voice, be sure to also watch our fabulous outfits on video as well on Spotify, YouTube, or the Apple Store. This is the best way to stay in the flow with future conversations and also allows the podcast to reach more people. So hit subscribe so I can keep vibing with you on all future episodes. Now let's get into this one. I used to live in a $2 a night hut in India and made $200 a month and would live off of that. So it wasn't always this, right? But it's like my identity has shifted so much that now I'm just like, yeah, this is just like what I do, right? And so it's interesting because I feel oftentimes we'll take on the identity once we have the thing, right? Oh, once I have a 7-figure business too, I'll identify as like really good with money, Sahara. It makes total sense. But actually, can we identify with that thing before we have it? And that's where we get all like metaphysical, science-y up in here. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about our self-perception, and we're going to have a discussion on manifestation because I'm kind of starting to question it right now. This queen is like, no, we totally create our own reality. So let's dive into it with the Activations app creator, Mimi. Welcome.
Hi, Sahara. Thank you so much for having me. And you're such a natural, just riffing on that intro. I'm watching in awe.
It's just what I identify as, I know.
Hey, exactly. It's part of your self-image that you're an incredible podcaster, and it shows.
So tell me, what is a self-image?
So your self-image is simply your perception of yourself, your identity. It's, you know, if you say, I am the kind of person that ... that ... is how you feel about yourself. And it's the core belief inside of you of who you are. And I believe that to change your life, you must change your energy. And the easiest way to change your energy is to adjust your self-image, to rewire and reprogram your subconscious mind to align with your future self. And I call future self the version of you that you aspire to be. You can also use the words higher self or best self or favorite self. And your future self is this vision, this avatar of the ultimate version of you that you can step into in any given moment.
It's so true, because looking back on my life, like when I was broke living in India and did not have a book deal, I'm like, one day my book is going to be on the shelves of Barnes and Nobles. And it's like, I had zero evidence of it, never met an author, no idea how, but I just decided that's what it was going to be. And then when I was going through really hard time with my family and my dad disowned me, I'm like, this is just the shitty part of my memoir. Like, this is the part of my memoir I'm going to write about of like, things were really bad. I was living on my own and da-da-da. And like, I just would see myself from the future all the time, but I didn't really know. Like, I just thought this was just my way of maybe comforting myself. And now I'm seeing that, like, so I'm curious, when we see a future version of ourselves, is like, do we actually know about that future and that's where it's coming from? Or are we like making it up?
Well, you know, it depends on what you believe. You could even say there's, you know, in quantum physics, many theories that state that all realities exist at once, and maybe you're tuning into something that already exists. Or you can just be blatant and more, you know, current day scientific and say that it's simply a belief system that you want to subscribe to because that's something that you want to create in your future. And therefore, the more you believe it, the more likely it is to happen, because the RAS in your brain, the reticular activating system, will be refiltered to start noticing opportunities where you might not have noticed them before. So there are a lot of different modalities that can prove the, I guess, science of, quote, manifestation. I like to always say this quote, and it's like, Christians will call it prayer. Atheists will call it the placebo effect. Scientists will call it quantum physics. And spiritualists will call it the law of attraction or manifestation. At the end of the day, it's all saying the same thing with different words. And I personally am a spiritual person, but I'm also quite a pragmatic scientific person. And I do like seeing hard facts. And I feel like my belief system really lies in the middle between spirituality and more of the sciencey psychology stuff. So that's how I explain it. I kind of give many different explanations. And I actually just wrote a book with Hay House called Activate Your Future Self. It's coming out in April. And writing this book and doing all the research for that just really, really got me excited about the work that I'm doing, because the evidence is everywhere. No matter what you believe in, the evidence is there. So at the end of the day, I'm a massive believer in we can all create our dream lives. We can all become our future selves. And it actually doesn't need to be as hard as people think. I've transformed my life radically over the past 8 years. And I had a complete 180 in every area of my life, from my mindset, my self-love, my confidence. I was the least confident person I knew. I was resorting to drinking and going out a lot and doing a lot of drugs, and had a terrible self-image, had eating disorders, had self-harmed when I was younger. I was in a very dark place mentally, and that complete 180 over the past 8 years. My relationships, complete 180. I'm now with the love of my life, and I truly believe I manifested him. I have a story about how I manifested him, actually. And financially has been one of the biggest things as well. Physically, in every aspect. I've literally changed how I look, everything about my life, especially financially as well. We can get into that, but I also was living in a time where I had less than $10 in my bank account, and now I have an incredible business that helps tens of thousands of people every day. It's really quite incredible how this work can quickly change you, and it's not as complex as a lot of people think. Back when I started my journey, I really thought that it was so complicated to transform. And I had my eyes set on transformation. I was obsessed with the idea of transforming because I was really in a different place. And I was starting from nothing, and my family didn't come from a lot of money, and I didn't know how to, make ends meet. And I just felt extremely stuck, extremely self-conscious, and I hated myself. So I got onto the personal development bandwagon, and I started learning all these things, but it was overwhelming. There was so much to do, and everyone would say different things. And over the past 8 years, as I've transformed more and more, I've really just dialed everything down to a very simple formula, which has transformed me deeply, and also tens of thousands of people that use activations. And it's been quite incredible to see, because I had to start subscribing to the belief that it doesn't have to be hard. And I know you agree with this, but what you believe becomes your reality. So if you think it's going to be very hard, it's going to be very hard. If you think it could be quite effortless in a way, I also believe that that can be the case. So this journey has just been incredible, and I'm excited to share more with you.
What is your unique type of intuition? Are you someone that feels things in your body, sees a vision for something, hears a voice in your head, or just knows? This quiz is going to help you understand your unique intuitive type and how you can take action on it in creating a career that honors your intuitive gifts. All right, let's get into it.
So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your eyes and listen.
I'm excited. We're going to dive into your process, but I think the first thing that comes up is like, I feel like we've all tried to manifest something that didn't happen. And then we're like, it didn't work. I put on my full moon, I was going to meet the love of my life this month, didn't meet him. I put in, I was going to make 6 figures, didn't happen. So then we're like, this doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. So if we felt that, how do we regain confidence?
Okay. The first thing is, I wouldn't advise putting timelines on things.
But Mimi, I need to meet him by April when your book comes out.
I know. But the timeline is not up to us. The result can be and is up to us. So the more, I believe, the more that you sit in the feeling and the energy of your future self, the closer you are to getting there. So what if you lived your entire day talking about a partner? What if you lived your entire day feeling already fulfilled and loved, and like you just deeply knew that feeling of like, I know he's around the corner. It's just like if you won the lottery, the money doesn't go right into your account immediately, but there's this like waiting period between you knowing for sure that you won the lottery and you feeling the feelings of, oh my God, I just have $100 million coming my way and I know it for a fact. There's that waiting period in between then and it actually arriving in your account. You need to live in this like waiting period with any desire that you want in your life, whether that is the partner of your dreams, whether that is earning a specific amount of money, whether that is, your new friendship coming up because you're lonely, you don't have a lot of friends, whether that's a certain career thing, a certain body thing, a certain health thing. And that's that energy that you need. That's like the sweet spot. Because I personally believe that there are infinite realities and lifelines, I call them, that we can tune into at any given moment. And to tune into that reality, to make that your reality, you need to match the energetic frequency of that reality. And there are many things you can do to align yourself with that. But the more that you align yourself with this new energy, this future self reality that you would like to create into existence, the faster you get there. And also, you need to get into a state where you're not looking at the clock thinking, okay, why isn't it happening yet? You need to be living in this state of like, I'm so fulfilled, it's already happened. So that's what I would say.
I love it. Okay, so let's break down the process. Like, what is the activation system of manifesting and creating our reality?
Okay, so activations are simply a new type of audio that I developed a few years ago. So when I first started on my personal development journey, everyone was telling me how important visualization is. And I deeply, deeply love the idea of visualization. It helps you reprogram your subconscious. It gets you excited about your future. There's nothing that's not positive about visualization. It gets you excited. It just aligns you with that reality. And then all the books I was reading, all these seminars that I was going to, I was obsessed with personal development at this time and still am, but I was really diving in, trying to just absorb as much information as possible. And all these experts were saying, you have to meditate. And meditation's amazing, but it doesn't give me that feeling of I'm going to get up and like make my dream life happen with energy and excitement. Like I'm an active person. I didn't want to close my eyes and clear my mind and think about nothing. I would get like ants in my pants. So I would try meditating a lot. And it's amazing for calming your mind, de-stressing your body, but that's not really what I was looking for. I wasn't looking to de-stress. I was looking for a radical transformation. I was looking to go from under $10 in my bank account to making hundreds of thousands a month. I was looking for my dream partner. I was looking for this just completely different life. And I didn't believe at that time that meditating would help me get there. I tried and it would be on my to-do list and I would not check it off. And it'd be one of those things that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm not seeing the results from it. So I was in my small, like 150 square foot apartment in London at this time. And I just intuitively got a hit. And this intuition was telling me to take my phone and just record a voice memo of my visualizations of who I wanted to be, of being my future self in the present moment. I'd add motivational guidance in there. I'd add affirmations. And then I'd listen to these audios in everyday moments with my eyes open while I was, brushing my teeth in the morning, while I was walking to the gym, while I was on public transport, while I was doing anything. And I started feeling very different. I'd also create dozens of these because I get bored of them really fast. I also just wanted to enhance the effects of it. So I started getting this inspirational cinematic music from YouTube and layering it on top and recording it with my podcast microphone back in the day because I had a podcast. I still do technically, but it's not a big thing that I do. And I would create these audios that were deeply inspiring, deeply moving and motivating. They gave me this certain energy. Little did I know they were putting me into a new lifeline. Every single time I listened to an activation, I was selecting a new lifeline. I was selecting a new reality for myself. And I would literally step into that reality by the end of the activation. Fast forward years, this became my hack on transforming my life. This literally became the thing that helped me go from the under $10 in my bank account to having a business worth tens of millions today, from having a serious eating disorder and a very, very bad self-perception to now loving myself unconditionally and truly and feeling joy every day and genuinely living a life that I feel so deeply lucky and grateful to have. It was a complete transformation when I started listening to these activations. And I didn't know what to call them back then. I was also just doing it personally for myself, but I'd create hundreds of them. This was an addiction of mine because I felt so different. I started seeing different results and I started really manifesting quickly. And 3 years ago, I decided to share a few of them with the public because I had a bit of a following online and they blew up. So I took that money, put all that money into an app, and now we have the activations app. And we have over 700 activations for every moment of the day, from walking to getting ready in the morning, to sleeping, to cooking, cleaning, motivational 2-minute pep talks when you need a boost, workout activations, literally an activation for every moment of your day. And what I realized is that these energetic, motivational, inspirational audios really change your state and transform you in a unique way because they're paired with you doing an everyday action. It's not like you're sitting with your eyes closed and then opening up your eyes and then going on with your day. That's very difficult to be the future self when you do that. But when you train your mind and your body to be in a new state while you're doing something mundane, like doing the dishes or walking the dog, that is when real change happens. It's like the Pavlov dog theory. Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. What if you listen to a walking activation every morning for 10 minutes when you walk the dog or when you're doing your makeup in the morning? Soon enough, you don't even need that activation to feel like your future self. And every time you listen to an activation, it sets you into a new lifeline, a new reality that you can select. So that's a bit about activation. So it's a new type of audio. It's kind of like a mix between a visualization, meditation, a motivational podcast, and deeply cinematic music. Music is a massive part of activations because music just changes how you your state. It changes how you feel. That's why in movies, they really use specific music. Can you imagine like Interstellar without music? Can you imagine these epic movies without any music? Music tells you how to feel. And we use a lot of musicians and my audio engineers in the app. They really curate the music to make you feel like you are literally that main character in your own movie, going through that transformation, achieving at the top and transforming. So all in all, I just feel so passionate about this because it's so easy to do. You're habit stacking it. And all you need to do is just listen to it. You can even listen to it in the background of your life. That's how your subconscious gets retrained. It's truly the magical thing that's changed my life.
I love that so much, of that journey of like even you just recording that for yourself and like speaking out, like our words are our wands, and like really speaking out those things that we're calling in. And then like the power of even just like listening back to your own voice and listening back to what you desire of it. Like it's the feedback loop of like, oh wow, this really is real. And I love how it's so interesting how it's like, that's our dharma, the thing that we need the most of in our life that you created for yourself. You're like, oh, maybe let me like share this with like a couple other people. Oh, wow, they like it. Let me keep doing it and keep doing it. And now 700 of them. And, I got to download the app and do a bunch of them. By the way, we have a link for you guys to do it 2 weeks for free and get a discount on the yearly activations.com/Sahara. I'll put that link below. And I've been listening to a bunch of them this week, actually. And I really love the morning ones, especially with questions, because I'm such a, like, I like wake up and my mind is like, blah, 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 and I'm like, in the past, I would like just send voice notes to my friends and kind of be in this like back and forth. And what I've kind of learned to do the past few months is sit with myself a little bit more, right? Rather than like reach out of like, let me ponder what my dream meant. Let me sit with my thought. Let me sit with this thing. So I really like those ones that ask questions. It's something I've honestly never done in my life, but I was like, oh, this is actually very helpful of going through what your ideal day would be that day. Because I'm someone who I just wake up and I kind of like go with the day, And then I was like, like, what am I doing today? And it like made me start like thinking about it, like, what would my ideal, because I think we think of our ideal day as like, I wake up in Bali and there's a waterfall behind me. And, Tarzan comes out of the jungle and millions of dollars are raining from the skies. Like, that's where I go. And it's like, oh no, but what about my ideal like today? And I'm like, and it's like little things like this make a big shift. Okay, for example, I'm going to give a very specific example. Yesterday I had a podcast shoot and today I had a podcast shoot. Yesterday I did 3 podcasts, which is like kind of a lot back to back, but I'm moving. So then I just went straight into packing.
Yeah.
And I'm like packing. Then by 10:30 a.m., I'm like, what p.m.? I'm like, what's the purpose of life? Like, we're all just going to fucking die here. Like, I don't understand any of this. And I was just like, God, really, because I just worked the whole day and then went into packing, right? So I was like, okay, feedback for myself, activation. Let me not go into packing after, like, let me do that on a different day. And it was just like that little moment of awareness of like, but I think we just do things and we don't reflect on them. So then we're just like, why do I feel anxious? It's like, maybe if I unwinded, like, I'm sending reels back and forth with my friend the whole day and I'm like never really present. That could be why. I'm drinking coffee. That could be why. It's like all these little things. So I feel like that is what like setting intentions and all this stuff is helpful for. It's like, yes, there's the magical element. And then there's like the super practical element of like reflecting on our choices.
Yeah. And I love how you like the question ones. We have so many different types on the app. Like every activation category is different. I'm sure you're referring to one of the getting ready in the morning ones where it's like, instead of affirmations, it's just questions so that you kind of self-reflect while you're getting ready. We have every type though, like from affirmations to just general motivational guidance to questions. Like there's so many different types, but I love how you like those because it means you like structure and you crave structure. That's what I've noticed. Because when I'm in the mood of like really needing to feel like I'm accomplishing something, I'll listen to one of those too. And we also have guided writing ones. So if you want questions to even write down answers to, go to the writing category, the writing activations. They're all guided journaling.
Yeah, I haven't done this one yet, but you had put the legs on the wall and I love my legs on a wall. Yeah. So that's like a good one. I saw you had the Lucky Girl affirmations one, lots of different affirmation ones.
Our Lucky Girl ones have actually been like downloaded and played on the app like hundreds of thousands of times. Like they are so popular, I think, since that trend on TikTok. That's how a lot of people actually got introduced to manifestation. It's the lucky girl energy trend that everyone saw.
So what is this whole lucky girl thing? Explain it to us.
Well, I guess it's people talking about how they just started telling themselves that they're a lucky girl, a lucky person, and then they just start seeing reasons why everywhere. They'll get the parking spot, they'll meet that person, they'll go to that place, they'll have, this thing happen to them. And this has been around a long time in the manifestation space. Like this is simply like manifestation. If you believe that you are a lucky person, you're going to see more reasons why you are. Just like if you believe that you're a victim that can't amount to much because of something that happened in your past, you're also going to inadvertently manifest that into your life. So the lucky girl syndrome, like it's a catchy name, but this is just what manifestation is. It's your beliefs, your thoughts. And like I mentioned earlier, the RAS in your brain is this filtration system that essentially decides what you consciously notice in your life. And it's a filtration system that basically doesn't show you information that doesn't align with your goals and or your thoughts and your beliefs. So can you imagine if you start telling yourself very, very simple things like, I'm the type of person that attracts opportunity. I'm the kind of person that is a magnet to abundance and wealth and success and opportunity. And you actually begin to feed that into your mind every day, and slowly but surely that becomes part of your self-image and a deep core belief that you have about yourself. When you walk into a room and you meet someone who could potentially be a good business partner or someone that could be involved in something with you, like you're going to see that opportunity. But if you never did that work, that person would still be in the room. You just would never have thought of that. The same goes with victim mentality. You're going to see reasons everywhere why you can't, if that's what you deeply believe. So whatever you believe is your truth. And that is how essential it is to be on top of how we feel, our thoughts and our beliefs and our self-perception, our self-image and our identity.
It's so true. Something that I saw on plant medicine was that whatever I thought of how I looked was literally how I looked to other people. So I was like looking in the mirror and then, you often go to the thing you're the most insecure about, right? So like I was like seeing, I was always very insecure as a kid of like, my cheeks are so round, my face is fat. And it was like, always that. Yeah. But I love, but so when my face would go there, or like whatever sunspots on my skin, then I would like morph into like the ugliest version of myself. And I would see, and I was like, oh God, like that's me. Like, oh. And then when I would find one thing that I found beautiful, I was like, oh, you have these green specks in your eyes here. I'm like looking at them. Then all of a sudden my face would morph and I would like become this gorgeous like Amazonian goddess. And it was just because of where I put my intention. And it made me realize that how people see you is based on how you see yourself. So if you see yourself as beautiful, people will see you as beautiful. If you see yourself as ugly, and that's why some of the most like gorgeous like models in the world who are insecure, we notice that insecurity. And then people who are just, maybe ordinary in terms of physicality, but they carry that vibrancy with them. We're like, there's something so gorgeous and so appealing, but it's that self. So what is your advice on someone that like may not feel beautiful, right? How can you start to feel that within yourself?
Such a great question. And listen, I'm answering this coming from a place of me struggling with that all the time. Like fully, I am in my late luteal phase right now. I had cortisol, stress, hormonal acne on my chin. That happened the other day. And I'm like, what is going on? And I can't even tell you, it's been one of those things that I was trying to not hyper focus on the past few days. So for anyone listening, the most, beautiful model that you'll see, yes, they might have this deep self-image of beauty and confidence, but everyone still does have bad days. What I will say is it's all about your bounce back rate. Your bounce back rate is something that I talk about a lot, and it's simply not focusing on perfection, focusing on how quickly you can just get back on track. So if you are working on your self-image and you want to feel more beautiful, and let's just say you're in your late luteal phase and a few pimples pop up and you're not feeling great, it's like, okay, that's fine. Don't obsess over it. Just how quickly can you bounce back into feeling good again? And it's crazy because I've been flying a lot. I've been in like 4 different time zones the past few days. I've, like I just mentioned, like certain time in my cycle. So my skin was reacting a bit. And then 2 days ago, it was at its worst. And yesterday, I just decided to visualize all day that I love my skin. It was clear. It was soft. I felt so confident in my skin. And people look at me and they think my skin is beautiful. And I really, really visualized that. It was hard all day. Like it was not as easy for me. For some reason, there are certain things like manifesting money. It's really easy for me, but manifesting certain things like this, it was harder for me. And I did that all day. And then I went to the grocery store last night. Erewhon. Every time I'm in LA, every single meal is from Erewhon. I don't care what nice restaurant there are. It's just Erewhon. I was there, and then the guy at the cash was like, I had no makeup on, and I still had these pimples. And the guy at the cash was like, "You have great skin, by the way. What do you do?" And I was like, "What?" I really felt like I was emanating this energy, and even if they are physically still there, like I really felt like the guy almost didn't notice it because I was giving off this confident skin energy. Anyway, going back to the point, you have to put the work in. You might not be on the outside be quote perfect, but you have to realize that no one is perfect, and it really starts from within. And if you can exude this energy of self-love and this respect and confidence for yourself, then other people are going to start noticing it. So how to start doing that? Really get crystal clear on the version of you that you want to be, your future self. Your future self feels beautiful, and you can write this down. Like my future self, and I think journaling is such a beautiful, important thing when it comes to growth and transformation. And you can just write it down like, this is my future self. First step to transforming anything in your life is clarity. Get very clear on what you want. Not just, oh, I want to feel prettier. It's like, no, like what exactly do you want? And who is your future self? Like my future self, she, let's just say, has beautiful glowing skin and she doesn't let it get to her if she has a breakout here and there. My future self has beautiful thick hair. She gives off this like confident, like beautiful feminine energy. And you write this all down and you get this avatar of your future self, and that alongside anything else that you desire. And then all you need to do as step 1 is clarity, and step 2 is becoming. So step 2 is all about just feeling like you're already there, acting as if you are already there, activating that future self in everyday moments, and just being that version of you, feeling like you have it, deeply feeling what it feels like. And the longer you do that, like it's like you're expediting everything that you want to come to you energetically. And it is like you are a magnet. We all have biofields, and this is measured by science. It's scientifically proven that we all have biofields, and other people can call that energy fields around our body. And when you embody this energy of that thing that you want, that becomes like a magnet to those things coming your way. And I so deeply believe that your self-image creates your life, that when I see certain things popping up in my life, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to work on that, because no one's perfect. And it's not about perfection. It's about truly just being who you want to be in these everyday moments, trying your best and embracing the humanness throughout it all.
If you're interested in diving deep into shadow work, ancestral healing, tuning into your intuition, Ayurveda, ancient wisdom, ceremonies, rituals, and so much more, then you are designed to be a spiritual life coach. This is someone that is a guide, an oracle, a person who dives people deeper into their own truth. You powerfully ask people questions to dive them deeper into their own understanding, and use your intuitive gifts, whether you are someone that feels, sees, hears, or senses, or knows. And this is exactly what we train you to do in Highest Self Institute's new Spiritual Life Coach certification. Over the next 6 months, you'll be diving deep with myself and my team in learning all of the tools and modalities to create a private practice as a spiritual life coach. And you'll be coached every single week, one-on-one with your peers, to actually apply these tools into your own life. So imagine how far you will be 6 months from now, every single week, diving into your shadows, your healing, your intuition, your dharma, and so much more. You know, when you're in silence and all of a sudden you get this aha realization that completely shifts the course of your life? Imagine if you actually created space for that and were coached by someone who took you deeper into your truth every single week. So the way the training is created is every week you'll receive a module from myself and my co-founder, Dr. Neetha, teaching about all of the tools and practices, including our highest self method of spiritual life coaching, which is only found here at the Institute. Then you'll have a live Q&A call with us where you can ask any of your questions. I will also be laser coaching you. So this is the only container that I personally coach in, and the realizations that you will have and see other people have truly are a force field. Then there is a weekly live practice pod where you will actually be able to practice in breakout groups the coaching practices of that week. And then you'll be able to receive feedback to really give you confidence in coaching, which is something I have never seen in a coaching institute before. And our unique approach to spirituality is ancient and feminine. So if you are drawn to the body, the womb, the heart, the intuition, love, beauty, ceremony, ritual, and art as a spiritual pathway, then you are on a divine feminine spiritual path. And this looks very different than the hyper masculine or new age spirituality that is what most of the space is. So we really created this curriculum by women for women, honoring our femininity. And we also don't stay surface level. We dive deep. You know how we do it here on the podcast. Imagine going even deeper into the how and giving you the tools and practices to share with other people. I love that so much. And I noticed such a shift in my own physical appearance by changing my perception of myself. Like literally, there's like a before and after my divorce, I became like a different person. Yeah. And I look back on pictures of myself before and I was just, I don't know, like a lot more like almost like gaunt, lifeless. Like I was like thinner, but like just not taking up space, you know? I didn't look like nourished, right? Which is interesting because you would think in a marriage, you know, living with a partner, and my life was great, you know, but it's a deeper self-nourishment that I have now, that even being single and on my own, that I feel like I look more vivacious, more juicy, more alive, more radiant.
You're glowing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm older, right? And so I'm like, I look so much better now at 33 than for sure I've done at any stage of my life, you know? And it's so the opposite of what society tells us. And I have friends who are like 40 and they look better than ever too.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's shifting? It's funny because like, do you remember that show, like The Golden Girls?
I've never watched it.
It's like these old ladies.
Oh, okay,
right?
I know
It's
the
like
one.
These
I know
old grandmas. They were in their 50s.
Yeah.
But the self-perception of being in your 50s back then was you're an old grandma.
Yeah.
So they became old grandmas, right? But it's like now 50s like J-Lo, you know, and Shakira. And so it's like the perception of aging changes the way that we age.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no doubt about it. I have the belief that every year I get hotter and hotter.
Facts.
It happens.
So a lot of people in my audience, they want to be spiritual teachers, coaches, content creators, but they feel like I'm too late. I don't have an important story to share. I don't know how I'm going to have time to do this. I don't know how I'm going to make money doing this. It's not going to happen for me. What activations would you recommend for them?
Wow. Okay. Well, first, you need to get clear on exactly what you want and the type of career that you want. So I would go right into the writing activation category and find like there are so many on the app. I don't have my phone with me. Like I can tell you that there's literally an activation for everything. So go in there and find ones about, you know, design my future self or design my ultimate life. And really just like go start with the basics and just get clear. And then once you have an idea, then you can go to any other category and listen to them in everyday moments and then just try to tune in everyday moments. If you're really interested in creating more wealth for yourself, we have these a new category called targeted visualizations, and these are very money specific. So we have an income category where you can listen to any type of audio from income of 100,000 a year, all the way up to, I think, 10 million a year with every increment, like 100, 150, to like 250, 300. I think there's, probably 13 or 14 different variations you can do. And then you can also listen to the targeted visualizations. If you don't want just income, but you want like a lump sum, there's the manifest like X amount of money category. And it goes from manifest $5,000, I think, all the way up to like 100 million or something.
Gotta listen to that one.
Yeah, I know. And we have so many on there too for every level and every goal, because you also want to make sure that you feel energetically aligned with that number. Like,
I would just probably be laughing at like, someone's going to send me $100 million.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't feel like, most people don't feel like $100 million is attainable, but at the end of the day, a lot of people might. And you have to that's why there are so many options, because you can start with the 5,000 one. And then when you get more, wealthier and you get more comfortable with those amounts of dollars, then you can go up to the next one. Then you can go up to the next one. Like, I remember when my set point, I call it, for money was like $10,000 a month. Well, I remember when it was like $2,000 a month or less. And I remember when I first hit 10,000 a month, that was my set point. And I felt really comfortable with that. And then I wanted to expand that. And then it went to 50,000. And then it went to 100,000. And then it went to X amount, So now it feels weird to me if I earn less than $250,000 a month. Like, it feels strange. It doesn't feel normal to me. And I like to be honest with money, because back in the day when I had nothing, I wish that my younger self had a female role model to look up to. But yeah, so I don't remember the last month that I made less than that.
And that's all through activations.
Well, I have my books, that's coming out. It's through my business, mainly. But I have other things, and definitely the book deal was also a big manifestation. Like, I got way more than I could have ever asked for, and I truly manifested it.
Because a lot of people want to write books here, so I'm curious that story.
It's funny because I talk about this, then I realize I probably shouldn't talk about how much my book deal was for, because I don't know if it's whatever. Anyway,
I talk about how much I made for my books all the
time. So I won't say an exact number, just in case I'm contractually not allowed to, but it was in the multiple hundreds of thousands. And it's my first book. And I remember my book agent at the time was like, okay, you can expect probably this amount, maybe under 100K. It's your first book. We don't know how it's going to, whatever. And I went into it. I was like, I want a multi-six-figure book deal with Penguin. That was what I wanted. And we went in, we did the meetings. Penguin didn't end up wanting the book, but Hay House was amazing. And I fell in love with them, and they wanted to do it with me. And so we ended up signing with them, and it was a multi-six-figure book deal. And then a week after I signed the contract, Sarah, and I told my book agent, Kate, I was like, oh, by the way, before this ever happened, I was like, okay, manifesting X amount with Penguin. So she knew about this. Probably a week or 10 days after I signed the contract with them last year, my book agent texted me being like, you are really good at this. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, she sent me an article, and the article said, Penguin just acquired Hay House.
Oh my goodness. So you were the one behind that acquisition.
Yeah, it was all me. No, again, it could be I was tuning into something that already existed, because what is time? It's a human constructed. So there are a lot of more, deeper conversations we can get into, potentially why, and have long conversations over quantum physics or.
So at this time though, that you were trying to get the book deal, how much of your business or work audience did you already have?
On Instagram?
Yeah. Did you already
have also taken off. I launched my app 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I've actually haven't been on Instagram in 6 months. I don't go on Instagram a lot. I don't think that, to be honest with you, for years I did. And I thought that I was, I felt shame for not posting more because I didn't feel that aligned with it. I don't really like being an influencer. I kind of just like to enjoy my life and be present and be my future self every day. And for me, scrolling on my phone and having Instagram on my phone and having this relationship with Instagram wasn't really a part of my future self. So 6 months ago, I just decided to delete all the apps off my phone. And well, since then I made more money than ever. It hasn't been, completely linked at all to my social media. Well, that being said, the first year of my business probably was boosted by my social media. But the following years, it was a lot of word of mouth and organic marketing. So I didn't feel like I needed to be on social media as much. Now my book agent, my book publisher is like, okay, like let's start promoting the book. And I'm like, I'll get my assistant to post on my behalf if I want to. I don't feel aligned with social media. And since being off of it, I've just felt a lot more alive and a lot more present. So again, that's just my personal experience. Everyone, can feel different about that. But I just started feeling numb the more that I was on it. And the opposite of numb is alive. And I wanted to feel more alive every day. Every time I would have these little nuggets of mindlessly scrolling, I just felt farther away from my future self. So I decided to delete it, and I've had the best 6 months of my life.
For people listening, they might be like, so I don't get it. So I just write down what I want and, listen to an activation and it happens. Like, how much of it is like the actual actions that we take?
Oh, for sure. It's a lot of that. I don't believe in the manifestation of like you close your eyes and you visualize having a Ferrari and it pops up out of nowhere. That's not it. Activations help you rewire your subconscious mind and shift and adjust your self-image to become the version of you that you want to be. And guess what happens when you're achieving that? When you become the version of you that you want to be, you naturally, effortlessly become that version of you. And guess what that version of you does? They do the actions that version of you that has those things do. So for example, if your future self-image is someone who is very ambitious and has their own business and wakes up in the morning and feels positive and makes a lot of money, you're going to take actions like that person. You're naturally going to wake up and be like, all right, let's go. Where am I? And when you start feeling like your future self, you start acting like your future self. So if your future self is fit and healthy, you'll wake up and feel weird if you're not like going to Pilates or going on a walk or, moving your body. If your future self is focused on vitality and health, when you're at the restaurant, you're just naturally going to want to order foods that help with longevity and vitality. And it goes on with every single other example. So it's not just thinking it and it will appear. It is being that person. And from every other area beyond that, there is you naturally, effortlessly taking action without even realizing it. You naturally exuding this energy that is magnetic towards what you desire. And you naturally just starting the habits that person has. Like there are a lot of books and teachers that talk about very matter to matter ways of transforming, which works. Let's say like Atomic Habits. Okay, change your habits, change your life. Yeah, of course. But that's really hard to do if your self-image hasn't aligned with the version of you that naturally already has those things. It's going to be really hard to wake up in the morning and put on running shoes and go for a 5-mile run if you don't identify as a runner. So first, I say, work on that self-image and then naturally see all those things come into place. It becomes effortless, truly.
Yeah. And I feel a lot of people will post on social media every single day and not see a difference, right? Because their energy, because of the magnetism.
The needy energy also is like terrible. And not to say that everyone that posts on social media is giving off like desperate energy, but a lot of people that are trying to grow right now, and it's not coming from a negative place. It's really just like people don't know what else to do at this point. Like people in my life that are also trying to grow, but they're approaching it with the wrong energy, the wrong feeling. People can sense that. And when they're going after it with more of a desperation and more of like, oh, this is the only way I'm going to succeed, they're not creating the types of content that people are actually going to, really, really respond to. And then it just becomes this like really vicious cycle, and they get shame and they feel bad about themselves. They think there's something wrong with them, when it's like, why don't you just focus on the feeling of abundance that you desire and naturally take just intuitive action from that and see what happens. Be open to it maybe being social media and maybe not being social media. You can grow on social media and have viral videos go out all the time if that's the lifeline that you're selecting and the thing that you truly, truly feel aligned with. But you just have to expand sometimes, because when we're so dead set on one very specific outcome, it can actually be harmful. Because when I think about manifesting and let's say the Penguin book deal, that's a very specific manifestation. But that being said, if I had just gotten a house, I would have been thrilled still. For me, it was the energy of abundance with this book deal, no matter what that looked like. Notable publisher name, multi-six figures. So that it comes down to the energy. If you can really feel the energy of what you desire with this outcome, whether that's abundance from your business and you are creating stories of how to get there, that's where you're going wrong. Focus on the feeling is what I'll say. Listen, I was trying to embody the energy of having millions of dollars way before I ever created activations. And I was involved in different businesses that I failed multiple times with. I was involved in many businesses that had failed before activations. And so I was already trying to embody this energy before. But funny enough, I was really trying to manifest like the millions of dollars at this one business, and it completely failed. But I didn't stop trying to embody that energy. It just got me hungrier for it. And then little did I know the next thing brought me there. So sometimes the what isn't up to us, or the how. The what and the how sometimes isn't up to us, but it's the how it feels, the feeling inside of you that I believe is.
It's so true. And I feel that like even that desire we have is desiring us back. Like maybe it's like your soul, like you said, knew about this Hay House, Penguin Random House acquisition. So it was
luck. You never know, honestly.
You never know. But it's like, I've noticed, like, for example, Deepak Chopra writing the forwards of my book.
Massive.
You know, like I was a 26-year-old girl, first book deal with Penguin Random House. And I walked up to him at a conference.
Wow.
Complete stranger. The book had not even come out yet. And, you know, just walked right up to him, and I don't even know how I like walked on a stage. Like, I don't even know how his security let me on there. Like, it makes no freaking sense. Told him, you know, how much of an impact he's made on my life, and said, I would love to send you the PDF of my book. And I was happy with even that just being the only interaction. And then he sent me an email saying that he wanted to talk to me. I happened to be, and this is crazy synchronicity story, which I've gone to another episode, so we won't go totally into it, but long story short, he wanted to have a meeting with me, but this all happened in New York, and I was living with my grandma. I didn't even have money for rent at this point. And his meeting was in San Diego, and it was right when I was going back to LA where my grandma lived. So I was like, perfect. And then I was like, you know, visualizing, writing yantras, which is like the Vedic, it's like you write these like sacred geometry things. It's like to call in specific energies, and like praying of just like the best meeting possible, you know? And then after his talk, he walked off stage. He's like, come with me. And I was like, oh my God. And he had like a group of like 4 people on his team, and they just asked me a bunch of questions. And then he was like, I absolutely loved your book. I read the PDF. I love the way that you've modernized Ayurveda, and I would love to have you on faculty of Chopra. And that's when—
Is that his podcast?
Chopra is his big company.
Okay.
Yeah. So
on the faculty. Oh, wow.
So I started teaching with Chopra, and he wrote the foreword of then 3 of my books, which is unheard of for any other author.
That's incredible.
And sometimes I think I'm like, did I always, because I've been reading Deepak's books since I was 12 years old. You know, I'm like, so did my soul always know? You know?
Listen, I have goosebumps right now. I don't know. And who knows? But at the end of the day, what you believe becomes your truth. And if you feel peace knowing that that could very well be your reality.
Exactly.
I like to believe that. I like to flirt with the idea that I want what I want for a reason. And there are theories in quantum physics that are not fully proven, but they, you know, it could be that you are communicating with a future version of yourself or a past version of yourself in any moment. Time is a weird thing, and you could be wanting what you want for a reason because your future self has it and likes it, or because you just desire it in the moment. Who knows? But I like to romanticize things. So I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's my future self talking to me.
I 100% believe it is past life work that we have done to get to that place. Like 100%. I know Deepak and I have had lifetimes of like student, teacher, like rishis in ancient Vedic times. Like, so, but also I do believe the future version of me knew that. So when I would get into fights with my parents and they're like, you're never going to make it, I'd be like, one day I'm going to be like Deepak Chopra, but for the millennial woman. Again, I had no evidence of this, but I would say that.
You know, that is so incredible that you had that perception of yourself, that confidence when you were younger. Mm-hmm. That is so special, and why you're here right now. Because most people would have seen that Deepak was at an event and had zero confidence to go up to them. And I even remember back when I was younger, I'd have these opportunities that I wouldn't take advantage of because I didn't have the confidence. But you can train the confidence. And I guess it could have been inherently in you from the beginning, but with me, I had to train myself to have it. And
it was like something took over me. It was
wow.
I didn't even know what I was going to say. It was like my future self took over my vessel and was like, you're going to go up to him and you're going to talk to him because you might never see him again.
That's incredible.
And led to so many other things, So it's interesting because right now my deepest desire is like to truly be met in relationship.
Yes.
Right.
I feel it for you. You're giving off this beautiful feminine energy. And the minute that you move to where you need to be, I really think that you'll be aligned because like there's nothing in your energy not like attracting that right now.
So I'm sitting in this very new like thing to manifest that like almost feels like with like money, career, it's like, I want it, I got it, where it's like when it comes to another human being and like love, it's like there's a lot more surrender I feel that needs to happen of like, because girl, I have many lists, I'm like, he looks like this, and it's like also surrendering to like whoever God wants me to be with. But then sometimes it's like that desire for it is so strong that then it's like that could be too much, right? And then so I'm like, don't even think about it. Right. So it's like, what is your take on like how much to actually be like calling in this person, maybe listening to activations on it versus like when to just like let it go and trust the timeline of life?
Great question. So we actually have activations on the app, especially writing ones like design your ideal relationship, like manifest your dream partner. We have a lot of relationship ones on the app that you can listen to. But I'll tell you an interesting story. On October 12th, 2017, I recorded this is back when I was doing my own activations, and I was recording my voice memos. And I still have this one on my phone. And I described Ben. And on October 13th, the following day,
like when you say describe, like physically what he does or how he
made me feel, mostly, I did put. Listen, I was a bit more on my ego back then. I was like, he's 6'4".
Is he?
He's 6'4".
Oh, amazing.
So that might be luck, but it's like I was open. But I really described that we had like movie moments together all the time. Like he was sensitive but charismatic and charming. Like I really described his persona. And I did say that he had dark hair and was 6'4". Okay, he was British. Anyway,
these are specifics, girl.
I know, and it happens. But again, be open to either. Anyway. That was on October 12th, 2017. I recorded that. On October 13th, 2017.
The next day,
I meet him.
Wait, so did you even re-listen? Get a chance to re-listen to it?
No, I had to just do it. Like
okay, where's my phone? I need to record a voice memo right now.
So what I would do is first get clear, because before I would record these activations, I would actually like be journaling like what I want, and then I'd read some things out. But like, if I were you, I would just get really clear on how you want him to make you feel. Okay? Like get really clear on the feeling that he gives you. And then just go and live your life. Just like the lottery example I was telling you, where it's like, it's coming for sure. You're not in doubt that it's coming, and you're already living like you are in this new abundant energy. So you can be living in this new like, oh my God, I'm in love energy. Before it happens, just live in that and feel the feeling. And when you're in that energy of how he makes you feel, and you will attract him. There's no doubt about it. And also romanticize this time in your life. Like, come on, what girl doesn't want to be in that like early stage flirty, like when you go to a restaurant or a bar or whatever, when you're in Dubai, like, you can look around and like, you can like catch eyes. Like, I don't remember the last time I've caught eyes with someone. Like,
girl, I don't catch eyes with anyone.
No, but you can put yourself out there and just like look at someone and like give them a flirty smile. Like flirting is fun. I miss it. I've been in a relationship for 7.5 years. Go live people in long-term relationships dreams. It's fun. It's sexy. It's flirty. It's that like honeymoon period of like this is fun. So really you should embody that and like just don't make it a chore. I don't think you will, but that's what I was saying to my sister who's recently single. She's like, oh, I need to find someone. I was like, no, like make fun out of this time in your life.
Exactly. And I love that of really romanticizing whatever stage that you're in and seeing it as the perfect stage for you while also embodying the energy of what is to come next. So for you, like, starting more as an influencer, did you decide kind of like, I want to embody the role of like a businesswoman and start to step into that? And that's what led to this?
Yeah, I never really like deeply identified with being an influencer. I kind of just did it. And so opportunities had come my way and I had, gained a bit of a following online, but I didn't like it. To be honest with you, I never felt like it aligned with my future self. I started to realize that I wanted to do my own thing. I've always had a very big entrepreneurial bone in my body. Like I've always really, really, really wanted to create my own thing. And mainly because I don't like relying on other people or working for other people. I've always been incredibly independent. So whenever I've worked with other people, I have hated it. So I just naturally started trying a ton of different avenues, like truly throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like I developed a TV show that got sold to E! And then last minute, one of the cast members pulled out. At 21, I was going to be a co-creator, executive producer on a TV show for E! And I had the contracts and everything. I was about to make a lot of money. And then literally last minute, like I got the rug got pulled from under me. And then I moved to the next project. I was creating an online education company with a bunch of these investors, guys that I had met. And then they had invested millions into it. And then they just like lost all the money from this crazy thing that happened. And, like I was really ready for that to be my next big thing. And I had equity in the company. It taught me so much about business. And then I tried to start an e-commerce brand that failed. And then I had my podcast and I was living off of the income from like small sponsors on my podcast and Instagram. Like I don't have loads of followers. So I was living off that for a while. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to start. I like the idea of a subscription business because it's consistent money. And I have never had that in my life because I've always just been like working odd jobs and stuff, trying to make ends meet. And yeah, I launched it. It was more a health and wellness site. And then just to add some extra value to the audience, I created activations for them, especially walking activations. And it just blew up. And I very specifically saw the product market fit for the activations. And then I invested the money I'd made from that platform into my own app. And my business is still fully bootstrapped. And we have a very small team and it's changed my life. So
yeah, that is so powerful because I feel like sometimes we just let our identities be defined by what has happened. And also just the fact that you kept going.
You have to embrace failure. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. If I failed, it got me hungrier to go. And I think all that personal development work that I was doing for years before any of these businesses I had tried out really helped set that foundation.
Oh, business is the ultimate personal development work.
For sure. No means next. Failure or rejection is redirection. A lot of these principles that I learned from these personal development books, like if I get rejected, okay, next. Okay, I failed. That means that, the universe doesn't want me to go in that direction. Like really having faith helped me and deeply believing that I was meant for more. Like I had this insatiable belief in myself that I couldn't shake off. And I think that, I know that self-image of mine has created the life I currently live. And I'm literally living the life that was on my vision board all those years ago. And to be honest with you, a lot of what I've wanted, like the material items, and I still love material things. Like, I'm not going to say I don't, but a lot of what was on my vision board back then was like so much more material. It was like, oh, this car, oh, this bag, like, and then I like posted like a certain amount of money that I wanted in my bank account. And like, I've hit those numbers from the bank account perspective, but those things like the car and stuff like don't matter to me anymore. So I've evolved and changed while making more of that money and achieving more of these milestones in my life. And it's funny because you can think that you want something and then allow yourself to grow as a person while you do. And things might change and evolve. Like I've always been very malleable and flexible when it comes to how and it's going to happen. But all I knew at the end of the day was I was born to make a lot of money, to feel wealthy and abundant. I was born to live a luxurious, like beautiful life. And I have no shame in saying that. From when I was younger, I've always felt like I was born to be in abundance. And I grew up in a family of artists that, were living paycheck to paycheck and remortgaging the house to make ends meet. And there were bankruptcies in my family when I was younger, and this deep strain on financial health. And I just always felt really like this was not the life for me. So I think that probably triggered why it meant so much to me to earn money. But at the beginning of my journey, it was very much so money focused, I will admit. And now over the years, it's turned into a bit more of a spiritual experience, being happy and present and full of love every day, and really trying to find bliss and awe in everyday moments, and just seeing the world in this bright, beautiful way, and really savoring the relationships in my life, and, giving back and giving to my family and giving to the people that I love. Like, it's the most fulfilling. It's more fulfilling than any like Rolex or Chanel bag could ever be.
And it's like Maslow's hierarchy, right? It's like you have your core like needs, survival needs, money, shelter, whatever. And then once you get them, you're like, what are my wants? And it's like luxuries, etc. And then once you get those, you're like, now what? And it's like self-actualization. And that's really what we all deeply desire here. And it's interesting because, in my family, actually, we had money, but there was no purpose, right? There was definitely no art. And it was the men had money, right? And women were kind of like just focused on the family. And so I did have this deep desire of like, I want to make money on my own and not have like a man dictate that. But more recently, in the past 2 years, really redefining myself it's interesting because I'm like, I don't want to identify as like a business owner. I want to identify as an artist, right? I just want to like put things out that are just like channeled from the divine, that I don't need to monetize.
That's
that is
feminine.
just like, like coming as a gift from my soul. And that's what led to me making music and my music videos and production and stepping into that. And people ask me, they're like, how did you do it? And it was like literally me speaking it out loud, telling someone I had just met. I'm like, yeah, like I have this idea of mixing like Persian music and Afro beats and da-da-da. Like I was telling this random person about this. And he's like, oh, I can like produce music. And that's how I started. And then just from producing with him, I started to learn and I started to get more into it. And then like we would make song after song after song. And then after a while, he's like, what are you gonna do with all these songs? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll like drop a single every month for the next year. He's like, why don't you drop an album? I'm like, I'm not an artist to drop an album. And he's like, well, I see myself as an artist. Do you see yourself as an artist? And that was like exactly the big nudge I needed of, no, I did not see myself as an artist, right? I saw myself as a spiritual teacher, as an author, as a business owner, but artist, like that was like a muse for me, right? But not who I saw myself as yet. And then I just decided, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to drop it as an album. I don't know the first thing about what making an album is, but let's just go. And then the path just continued to reveal. And then, I had done a photo shoot with this guy in Bali. And I remember he said he's done a music video before. I'm like, let me touch base with him. And then we started making music videos. And then you just learn, right? It's like you learn from the process of doing it. And now, I have like over 20 songs out and tons of music videos and perform all over. And it's crazy,
Good for
and
you.
Just literally from making that decision of I want to shift my identity because I feel limited in my expression here into this whole new way of being. And that was like literally within 1 year that the conversation to the album happened.
That's incredible, Sahara. It's almost like you tuned into your childlike spirit of wanting to try something new. And that's like, honestly, the most fun of it all. It's just connecting with that childlike self. And I truly believe that personal development and stepping into your quote future self, it's really like reconnecting with your child self. And transformation into your ultimate life for me is more about unbecoming what I'm not than becoming something so far from what I've ever been. So you've connected with that, child version of yourself, almost like just trying something new and being curious and being artistic. Like I honestly feel like in a way I've done the same as well when it comes to my work. It's like very emotional and sensitive and deep. And I find that when I was younger, I had all these like feelings and qualities inside myself. And then I put this armor on, from probably the ages of like 8, 9 until 20. And it was all about kind of taking those layers off throughout that transformation.
Yeah, it's so powerful, this journey of becoming, unbecoming, raveling, unraveling. And it's just, yeah, it's like so much of it is like who we are. And even I love how you're doing the activations. We'll have that link, but even me listening to my own songs, like when I would feel like shit again, I'll listen to my own song and be like, yeah, I'm the one I've been waiting for. And like, it was like my own form that I'm thinking of it right now of like an activation of myself. Cause it was like my voice in this more empowered consciousness that was like creating and being the version of me I wanted to step into that. And so I was just making music literally for me. I'm like, it doesn't even matter if anyone ever listens to this. It's just so I can have something that I would like to listen to, you know? And it sounds like you did that. And it's just so beautiful the way that like spirit guides us to like create for ourselves the thing that heals us. And then we get to share it with other people, and then they get to have their own experiences with it.
That's where the best businesses come from, is when someone solves the problem that they had and it ends up being a problem that a lot of people had.
So we have a special discount link, activations.com/Sahara. You can get 2 weeks off and a discount on the whole year. So if you're looking for a more activating way to start your day, to take a walk, to be reorganizing your closet, or, you know, journaling and writing prompts that actually get you going into using your energy towards co-creating the reality that you are calling in, then definitely check out Activations. And Mimi, where can listeners further connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to note that if you guys want to take advantage of the discount that Sahara is offering, you have to go to the website, not the App Store, because the App Store doesn't let us do discounts weirdly. So to get like the massive discount that we're offering, just go to activations.com/Sahara. And honestly, just take advantage of the 2-week free trial. Like that's what I will say. We have a money back guarantee as well. Like we really want to make it low barrier to entry for anyone trying, because you can feel a difference in 2 weeks. Like 14 days is quite a long time to feel the shift. So take advantage of it. And if it makes you feel different, which I know it will, then you can keep your subscription. And if not, then just cancel and get your money back if you even forget to cancel. So that's what I'll say there. If you want to hear more from me, my book with Hay House is coming out in April. You can pre-order it on Amazon. It's called Activate Your Future Self. And yeah, I'm on Instagram at Mimi Bouchard. I don't know how often I'll be posting on there because I haven't in a while, but you can find me on there. And yeah, activations. We upload many new activations a week, and there's always something new. So try it out. Let us know what you think. It's an alternative to meditation to help you reach your goals, and excited for you to try it.
Thank you so much for creating it. So this is going to be a really fun 2025. Like, let's try something new. Let's activate our lives. I'm like singing that in my Spice Girls voice the whole time. And it's like moments like this that we get a chance. It's a reset. You know, even if it's the Gregorian calendar, I do feel it's like there was a lot of energy that's put into the fact that it's like a new calendar year, right? It's like a turning of tides. It's a new season. So this is your moment. And if you're listening to this months later on, like, hello, today is your moment. You're listening to this at this perfect time to, you know, I hope this inspired you, and like so many different stories between the two of us of like insane freaking things that have happened simply by shifting our self-perception. So make the time to do that. Again, head over to activations.com/Sahara to get your free trial. And I'm so excited to see what awaits you on the other side. Please share with me your takeaways from this episode. Please leave a review in the podcast store or a YouTube comment. And as a free gift, I'll send you my womb meditation. So take a screenshot and email it over to me at sahara@iamsahararose.com to receive that free gift. Please share this episode with your friends. Tell us what you loved about it. This is a really great one to just spark bigger conversations with your friends. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast, on YouTube, Spotify. We have video, and I'm just so excited to co-create with you for the rest of this year. All right, I'll see you in the next one.
Trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your eyes and listen. Surrender, let go. So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your